Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. So this evening, I really want to slow walk through the NESARA Act. This is something that I propose to America in the sense that a lot of people, it didn't get the attention that it garnered when we're talking about the NESARA Act. And it seems as though that this has been, and again, put on your conspiracy theory hats, put on your platinum kufis. But what I've stated 3 years ago is seeming to come true. Not because I'm, again, a very intelligent person, but again, I connect the dots nonetheless. So let's start off here when it comes back to your credit card bills. You guys remember me covering this morning? Average credit card interest rate, APR, was around 23% of 23. And then your retail cards here in 24 is at 30%. I even showed my own percentage on one of my business credit cards. It was also at 30%. Bear with me, I'm building here. I think you will find this very interesting where this is going. So stay with me. I won't be long. Americans are drowning in credit card debt. Trump's proposed cap on interest rates probably won't help. This was dated September 24th, 2024. September 24th, 2024. Again, I want you guys to think about all the credit card debt, the interest rate, inflation. We're building to the NESARA Act. Stay with me. I think this is interesting. This was around 1.14 trillion Americans' credit card debt. It's even more now. And Trump stated, we're going to put a temporary cap on credit card interest rates. Trump said at a rally last week, we can't let them make 25 and 35 and 30%. However, his proposal is built certain to get stalled in Congress, just like similar plans introduced by Republican Senator Josh Hawley, the same one who's involved in this, and by progressive lawmakers included Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Andrea Ocasio-Cortez. Now, all of these people are involved in some way or form of returning America back to its standard constitutional rights. And that's when Donald Trump, it really started to dawn on me what Donald Trump had been doing. And I've been collecting, these very layered thoughts of how everything is connected. Again, if you guys in conspiracy theory, you may find some interest in this. And I'm not saying this is a conspiracy. He's dismantling the Department of Education and leaving it back to the states. He helped overturn Roe v. Wade, and he's leaving abortion rights up to the state. Everything is turning back constitutional. Let me continue. I'm just giving you guys some reference points here, okay? There's no question that with a 10% rate cap, card issuers won't put the clamps down on credit cards or in credit while they figure out how to continue making money in this new normal. Let me move on. The first time I heard about the NESARA Act was no other than Bill Clinton. Now, Bill Clinton didn't come up with the NESARA Act on his own. I'm going to blow this up. It states here, and this has come from historyhub.history.gov. This is a federal government website. It says any records of President Clinton that mention Harvey Francis Bernard proposed economic reforms may be in the custody of the Clinton Presidential Library and Museum, and it gives them a reference. Okay. So they say, hey, if there's any information regarding that, just go ahead, William Clinton. And I tried to track this down. It was very hard to find. I could not find it. Bill Clinton came out and he stated this. This is very cryptic. This is one of those messages that only the people that knows what he's talking about is understanding. And then it drives the public wild, okay? It drives the public wild of these cryptic messages because, like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? But this quote means that America's democracy shouldn't look good. It stated that the American democracy shouldn't just look good. Not that it shouldn't look good, that it shouldn't just look good to the outside world. It should actively help America solve its own problems. While America certainly has issues, the quote to me emphasizes that America possesses the strength, the tools, and positive qualities needed to overcome those issues. Yes, America has flaws, but America also has the ability, the ideas, the people, and resources to fix those flaws. So the solution to America's problem already exists within the country itself. That is what that message means to me. Stay with me. We're almost there. Now I want you guys to reference a meeting between no other Barack Obama and President Trump. Now, they sitting here, they like they were buddies. They've been talking for a long time. They're having a great time. At least the conversation seemed like, I don't want to make the conversation more than what it is. I don't want to make the conversation more than what it is. Okay? And I'm just going to show some graphics here.
Sitting next to President Trump, suffice it to say, something you just don't see.
It is not a common occurrence, that
So
is
much
for
history.
sure. Barack Obama campaigning for the Vice President Kamala Harris. Obviously, she did not prevail, and now sitting.
All right, I only wanted to show that, okay? I only wanted to show that to reference that Donald Trump and Barack Obama was having a conversation. And again, I'm not trying to have you connect the dots, oh, what they were talking about. They could have been talking about golf. I don't know. But I'm making that connection that it seems as though they have a good relationship, do they not? So now let me show you a clip that I did April 17th. So this is almost, what, 3 or 4 years? Almost 4 years ago. April 17th. Let me show you. I did this video, and I'm glad I dated it right here, April 17th, 2021. So again, almost to the date. I want you guys to listen in to what I was stating in this video. This is interesting.
Real thing, okay? Now, supposedly I've been reading a lot that this particular act is actually in the works and that it's been essentially passed in some sort, a sense of the word, but a lot of us have not seen those results. So with that being said, let's walk through this. This is called the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, okay, NESARA. Now, what this act plans to do is a total reset of the economy. It says here that NESARA implements the following changes and others. It says zeroes out all, listen to this, zeroes out all credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt. It abolishes the income tax, but with that being said, there will be a flat rate tax of 14%. Now, a lot of people don't like this particular act because the
Okay. So I only pointed that out that I covered this 3 years ago. So I've been on the NESARA Act. And not to, again, this is not a conspiracy theory. It started with President Clinton by the way of President Barack Obama, okay, because this is his site that I actually referenced this material on. Now let's go back to Trump. It says Trump is considering a national economic emergency declaration to allow for new tariff programs. I want you guys to think, when did COVID occur? Who was in the presidency when COVID occurred? Or who came into the presidency when COVID happened, right? It was President Trump. Again, make the connections as you see them. But he stated that the only way that I can allow all these tariffs is there is what? A national economic emergency declaration to allow for new tariff program, okay? Here we go again. President-elect Donald Trump is considering declaring a national economic emergency to provide legal justification for a large swathe of universal tariffs on allies and adversaries, four sources familiar with the matter told CNN, and that the declaration would allow Trump to construct a new tariff program by using the International Economic Emergency Powers Act, known as the EEPA, which unilaterally authorizes a president to manage imports during a national emergency. So again, this is all going back, trying to reset the economy by any means necessary. And are we in an economic national emergency? He established the Department of Doge to audit fraud, waste, and abuse in the government. And federal judges are keeping their eye on Donald Trump, but they're still allowing him to pass these executive orders. Okay? So again, the NESARA is about resetting the government economically and law back to constitutional rights. But again, I'm not trying to build a conspiracy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist myself. But again, if there's smoke, there's fire. Let me move on. Freedom Caucus member Anna Pauline joins AOC to push 10% credit card interest rate cap. Okay. Trump floated the idea while campaigning last year. So again, this credits back to Trump of him trying to lower credit card debt. And then have you guys thought about this? If he dismantles the Department of Education, is he going to waive all of their debt? Is he going to waive all of their debt if he dismantled the Department of Education? And then you have Ocasio-Cortez with a Republican. Let me show you who this lady is. She's a Republican. She is supporting this bill with Ocasio-Cortez, who's a Democrat. Okay, so again, this bipartisanship. But Donald Trump is backing this as well. Let me move on. Now, when we talk about the NESARA Act, this is what we're referring to, and this is on petitions.obamawhitehouse.archives.gov. But this is what it's truly about. Now, this is the real shock and not, because the NESARA pledges to wipe out the IRS completely. What is Donald Trump doing currently? What is Donald Trump doing currently? Is he trying to dismantle the IRS as well? This is getting very close to the NESARA Act that 3 presidents are linked to. The IRS will vanish literally overnight like a tax season boogeyman, because NESARA replaced federal income tax with a national sales tax. Remember him when he was doing one of his Oval Office press conferences? He was talking about a national tax. Also, NESARA will reintroduce currency backed by precious metals like gold, silver, platinum, real stuff that glitters and has value beyond what government says. Fiat currency will become history, making your dollar as sturdy as good old Fort Knox, if gold is even in there. Also under NESARA, the Federal Reserve, it's infamous for its shadowy manipulation of money supply and interest rates. That would vanish faster than Houdini at a magic show. No pun intended. Control of currency issue, it would revert directly back to the Treasury and then democratically accountable to the people. NESARA will be about retrieving and reviving true constitutional governance, reinstating original titles of nobility and admiralment. No kings, no queens, or shadows or overlords. Manipulating power from these behind velvet curtains, these shadow and deep state NGOs. Returning courts to constitutional law instead of maritime admiralty law. Restoring judicial fairness and transparency. Justice served straight up, no shady backroom deals like we see today. Oh, well, my prosecutor knows your defendant and they went to school together and this is a great deal. You should go to jail for just 10 years versus the 12 years. And also after the NESARA enactment, it mandates immediate resignation of current political leaders and elections within 4 months. I don't think that will happen. That will be definitely subtracted. NESARA also includes provisions to halt unnecessary and aggressive military actions, pulling America out of perpetual war mode. What is America doing? What are they calling Donald Trump? The president of peace. He's negotiating peace. Again, we're on 4 points already. Decreasing and wiping away your credit card, mortgage, your school and your bank debt, abolishing the income tax and replacing it with a national tax. That's already 3, and here's 4. Uncle Sam pulling out of world wars. The military, the American military, no longer involving ourselves in Israel, Hamas, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, the Congo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We will finally be sitting on our butts doing nothing for a change. I mean, we should still train for war because, the world's a dangerous place. But the NESARA envisions full disclosure of suppressed technologies. Are you guys aware of the technology I've seen when I've been overseas? When I first went to Korea, they was watching TV on the subway with antennas on their phone. When I came back to America, we had the old Sony Ericsson flip phones with the green backlit. You'd be like, they're watching TVs on their phones. But that's what the NESARA Act, is going to do. It's going to disclose suppressed technologies. Everything from clean energy breakthroughs and free energy concepts to advanced medical cures previously hidden from the American people. Do you know that we have cars that can run off of tap water? That technology has already been released. Won't you guys go look up HHO gas, where you have a fuel separator inside of your car and it separates the hydrogen gas from water and it can actually fuel your car. That's just one example. That is one example of technologies being suppressed where a lot of people are not even saying. If you look up vehicles that are been ran by H2O, you will find these old videos of people that already have done it. How old are electric cars? Do anyone know? Electric cars first came out in the 1800s, and we feel like they came out in the last 10, 15 years. The first electric car came out in the 1800s. But this is what the NESARA Act is going to do. It's going to free information even more so than it is today. What if there's a cure for cancer? And a lot of you believe there's a cure for cancer. That would be revealed. Free limitless energy would be revealed. NESARA supporters say, like myself, that a lot of these things are locked away by shadowy powers protecting profits over people. This is freedom. In my opinion, this is what you call when people like free trade, free this, free enterprise. No, this is what you are being free and not a slave to the system, not a slave to United States Corporation of America, LLC, maybe an S corp. But the NESARA proposes a new transparent financial system that eliminates insider trading, like the liberals and Democrats have been insider trading when people are releasing their IPOs. Yes, I said it. That's allegedly. Market manipulation and rampant corruption. It restores privacy by halting invasion, monitoring of citizens' financial transactions. That is why everybody's trying to move to Bitcoin, because the government watch every single thing you do. Not everybody is a criminal. People are just trying to avoid taxes by law. That's why there's a lot of loopholes and gaps within tax laws, because they know people will learn how to avoid them. Those people who are up to lose the most. And a lot of people say, man, that sounds incredible. That sounds like a revolutionary dream that shake the planet. But do I believe this will ever officially get passed? Do I believe that this has been seriously considered by Congress? It just has me on the fringes. I mean, I'm this, again, well, some call NESARA a noble vision of prosperity. That's what a lot of people say. And they're saying the NESARA is a noble vision of prosperity. It's a noble vision of prosperity, justice, and fairness. And others deem it, and some of you may deem it, a wild fantasy or even a dangerous hoax. But here's my take, because, again, this is my bias, that the NESARA Act encapsulates legitimate frustrations with corruption. Let's point that out. Endless debt, taxes, inflation, and unfair power dynamics, because it's the utopia America's dreaming about after decades of political betrayal and economic turmoil. Yet, as exciting and impactful as the NESARA Act sounds, the sober truth, because I'm very sober, is it remains more myth than reality, at least for now. But there are a few indicators within the market. There are a few indicators within this administration that is making a pathway to certain elements and functionalities of the NESARA Act. You're not just hearing from me, but I said this again 3 years ago, and you can rewind the tape if you're coming here new to Blacklogic. If you're new to Blacklogic, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you are alerted every time I release a video or go live. And in that 3-year video, we covered this very same webpage, and we talked about them abolishing the income tax, making a national tax. Now, they're decreasing a lot of credit card debt. I hope this bill get passed. Nonetheless, this bill here, if you guys are new, that Donald Trump mentioned, was this almost 3 years ago, I believe. I believe that was about 3 years ago when Trump first mentioned this. I was trying to get that graphic up. Here it is. When Trump first mentioned decreasing your credit card debt, this was back in September of 24. Okay. It states that it creates a 14% flat rate, no essential new items, only sales tax revenue. But what are we using today? What methods is Trump using today to what seems to be to finish his mission of enacting the NESARA Act? He's using Doge. He's dismantling departments. He's trying to increase credit card debt, even wipe away some of your credit card debt. He's increasing tariffs on other countries' business. Did you guys hear about Elon Musk stating because of all the fraud, waste, and abuse that it's possible this year or next year, they're going to give every American citizen, if you're single, $5,000, if you're married, $10,000. Did you guys hear about that? Again, helping you to decrease your debt, credit card debt, mortgage debt, bank debt. And again, a lot of people who quote themselves as stable and responsible and have disciplines, they will say that you guys got yourself in these financial troubles, that you guys have no willpower, you have no discipline, you have no morals, no ethics. You went out there, you applied for a credit card, you got a mortgage that you know you couldn't afford. You know, you hid a lot of your debt to income so they wouldn't calculate that into the ratio so you can afford this house, this car, and this style of living. You did it to yourself. Then there's the other half of America say, well, America sells this dream. And they make it seem very attainable through debt, through fiat. But what they don't tell you is that you'll forever be a slave of the system. What system am I referring to? The economic system, the financial system, where you have to pay more than you'll ever make for most people. And that's not really depending on me around disciplines and morals and ethics. It may play a role, but it's about education and a higher level of understanding that we're going to show you everything that you need. Most of those are one, but they make it feel as though that you need a nice house. You need a nice car or an expensive car. And they create this socialistic world where they put certain prominent people in front of your face and you want to achieve exactly what they have achieved. And that is the American dream. Some people want gold chains that's worth $100,000. Some people want Tom Ford suits that are worth $100,000. Instead of buying $1,000 or $100,000 chain, you want to go buy a jet. You're still spending the money. And the American people are all on social media. We're tuned in. We locked in. And we're getting feed all of these images And we're slowly like, that's the American dream. Having a Bentley, having a jet, having a nice house, having the essentials. But some of you probably live in a 1,500 square foot house, have a 1989 Toyota Corolla totally paid off. Your bills are low, and you're probably living a great time, but you still want more. America, America, I love you. But you have manipulated the people. You have hoodwinked the people. You have put us in a trance that we always want more, that we always should be striving for more, that we shouldn't be striving for peace. We shouldn't be striving for happiness. We should be striving for money, and that we always should make more. In the NESARA Act, maybe a hoax, maybe folklore, but I've connected 3 presidents in some form or fashion of how they're connected to implementing a possible NESARA Act. Freedom of the people, right? I'm just making a correlation to connecting the dots. I don't know if you see it the way I do, but nonetheless, that's what I have for you guys this evening. Thank you for joining me. Again, if you're new to Blacklogic, hit that subscribe button. You guys have a great and wonderful evening. This is Blacklogic.